This is part 7 of She Prayed Over My Mama. The story of how my mom got conned out of over $100,000 by the evangelist of her church. Now, around mid-February, I got another call from my youngest sister. She called me because she was again concerned that my mom paid some money up front for a car. And it had been a certain amount, about 2.5 weeks, and she still did not have this car. And that money went to the evangelist. And I asked my sister, well, how much money did she pay? My sister said she didn't know. All she knew is that it's been about 2 weeks and my mom paid the money up front and she had no car. So I got on the phone. I called my mom up and I said, Mom, what's going on here? I understand you got a car. You done paid for a car and you don't have it. Why don't you have this car, Mom? And my mom said, no, Rand, I did. It just takes some time. They're going to get it to me. I said, well, Mom, what kind of car? It's a good car. It's a good car. It's Kim's sister car. I said, Mom, you're buying a car from the evangelist's sister? You paid money up front. I said, how much money did you give her? And she's like, I said, how can you afford the payments on this car? She said, there's not going to be any payments. I said, Mom, you're barely making it. How can you afford payments on the car? There's not going to be any payments. I can afford it. I should have thought then about how much money it was, but it just didn't register at the time. But she said, I can afford the payments. I said, why don't you have this car and you're giving this money? I understand it's been about 2 weeks or more. She's like, there's some things that are going on. I was like, Mom, I'm about to report this. She said, no, Rand, don't, no. I said, Mom, I need to know that you are actually getting a car. I am. I said, well, you know what? I need the VIN number. I need to know the VIN number of the car. I need to see some proof that you are actually getting this car and it's in good condition. Did you get the car checked out? No, but it's a good car. It's a new car. It's the evangelist sister's car. So now I asked my mom, like, why is she getting rid of this car? Or why is she selling the car if it's so great? And my mom said that she was told that she's getting a new car, a better car, because this car, even though it was newer, didn't have a heated steering wheel. That is what she told me as to what was told to her about why the evangelist's sister was getting rid of this car. And of course, it didn't sit right with me, and which is why I told my mom, Mom, you need to get that car checked out. Take it to a mechanic to check it out. I found it still suspect. So she calls me back. So she's trying to get me off the phone because, I'm going to follow up. And she knows I'm going to follow up. And I tell her, if I don't get this information, I'm going to report it. So my mom calls me back, like, I believe it was maybe 1 to 2 days later, she gets me the VIN number. I said, Mom, how much did you spend on this car? Now, the car is a 2021 Mazda. I believe it's a Mazda CX or something like that. And my mom said, it's 22,000. And I'm thinking, Lord Jesus. Lord help, Lord help, Lord help. $22,000. At that time, I was like, okay, I need the VIN number. So she gives me the VIN number. So I immediately talk to my husband. He runs a Carfax. I get on Kelley Blue Book. I'm trying to find out how much this car is actually worth, And she gives me all the other details. We run that. The Carfax comes out okay. And I tell my mom, a couple days later, yeah, the Carfax turn does not report anything. She said, "See, I told you, Rand. I told you." I said, "No, well, Mom, understand the Carfax is only going to tell you whether there's like some flood damage, or the car was reported to be in an accident. It's not going to tell you whether this car is dependable or not." I said, "You need to get that car to a mechanic." "No, man." She said, "Oh no." She said, "Yes, I will." It was always, these are good people. These are good people. She was saying, "Well, what's the delay?" "Well, we need to get the registration or something." She said she needs to get the registration figured out, and I'm going to get the car. I'm going to get the car. I've driven the car. It's a nice car. I said, "Mom, do you have the title?" They're going to get that to me. And she didn't have the title. She gave this money. I was beside myself. And I wish now I had, back then, hindsight's 2020. I probably should have called the, vulnerable adults right then and there. But when I pulled the Carfax or the Kelley Blue Book, it did come back that car was allegedly valued over $22,000. So, and that's what she told me, that she paid for the cars. But for a moment I thought, well, maybe I jumped the gun. Maybe I got it wrong. But I would soon know shortly after I got this phone call. I am under an immense amount of stress, pain. My life turned upside down a little over 2 weeks ago. And if I could just share with you, it would take too much time to tell you all the dynamics that are affecting, that have come to a head in just about every aspect of my life. Because I'm sure there are lessons here for others.